Hey, sister.
Hi, Michael.
This project is something I kind of wanted for, well, first to start with Aisha, Camila, and Ariana, and to have them be able to hear from and glean from the wisdom and experience of different Black women around them, people who look like them and have gone through experiences that they'll probably have to deal with. And you're their aunt, so it's an honor for me to be able to interview, ask some questions. We've had a lot of talks.
Yes.
And and discussions and
Intense moments of fellowship.
Like, yeah. But you're one of my favorite people on the planet, and glad to have you as a sister. Your hair is a little different than the photo shoot that we did.
Yeah.
You want to share a little bit about that with us?
So, as you know, but other people don't know, I decided to cut my hair. I was actually starting to lose it because I was diagnosed with cancer. I found out on July the 26th of this year. It's staged in grade 3. So I've been kind of mentally spend a lot of time going through the battle and just starting the beginning of my medicinal battle. I started chemotherapy on August 26th. And so now I'm about a week after my first session. And yeah, so I'm rocking the bald look. I think it's kind of cool. I'm trying to get used to it. It feels weird. But yeah, that's why.
What has your experience been like so far, being Black with cancer? You said you were thinking of starting like a movement or something to help bring support to other Black women.
Yeah, so when I found out I was diagnosed, initially I just kind of just freaked out. I didn't, and I started looking for places that I could connect with, or people that I could talk to. And I did find some people. I have a friend, her name is Patricia, and she's a breast cancer survivor. I'm just getting into her 5th year. And she connected me to some really good groups on Instagram and things, but I noticed that there's not as much activity as I would expect in the Black community surrounding cancer. And I know for Black people too, a lot of times getting diagnosed with health conditions and prioritizing health, physical and mental health, is kind of a newish movement. And so it kind of made me feel like it would be a good idea to join in, or to add, to
have a platform or something.
that because it's really scary. And even though I knew my family was going to care and support me, it's different to have someone that's been through what you've been through versus somebody who just loves you, because they're grieving. And so in a way, there's kind of a weight because you're both kind of trying to spare each other's feelings. So having someone that's like, I know what it feels like to like have chemotherapy and have my hair fall out and have parts of my body taken away is like a big deal. And it's reassuring to have survivors, because when you find out that you could die from something in a short amount of time, it's really kind of changes your perspective about your life. Like getting that, like, oh, and looking at all the statistics and different things. And for me, like, I think most people kind of are by like a Google searcher. So it was like, what's the worst thing that could happen, which I would not recommend to anybody ever to do. The best thing that I did is I joined a group on Facebook. Is like a survivors group, And I thought it was a Black group because it said sisters, but it wasn't. But I did connect with two, actually right away. There was two people. One that has really been like instrumental for me, helping me to have courage, because she had the same diagnosis, the same side. She has the same last name as me.
Oh, wow.
And so it was just like really like a ordained kind of moment, and I needed it. But it made me realize like there's so many other people that have faced what I'm facing and didn't know what to do or how to find support, or maybe didn't have the courage, you know what I mean, to do, or the thought to do so, because there's so many things racing through your mind. So, yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do, is say a lot. Like, that's
Right.
the point of all of this, is to be heard. So yeah, this is oh, what's this cup?
This is one of my designs that I've done. I do some graphic design. It says it's a petty cup. I identify with the petty community. I feel like sometimes it's a good way to get across how you feel. And it's relatable. A lot of times I think most people have kind of those immature moments where it's like, you know, I'm just going to share a little roughness with you. So yeah, that's one of my designs, petty. I have t-shirts and other things too, gear, if anyone is interested in that. Yeah.
This is interesting because like I've done one interview before, but I know the person, but she's not my sister. So it's like, how do I naturally go into these questions?
Right.
But there's like some good ones, like, but I don't have any real segues, so we're just gonna ask the questions. And
speaking of, speaking of women,
when did you learn you're Black? They're different based on melanin. We've known each other a long time, and I've always known you're Black, and you've always known I'm Black.
Right.
When was it kind of clear, or like, what was your kind of first inward experience or first time kind of seeing or hearing from other people that they felt like you were different?
So the first time, I'm sure this probably wasn't the first time, but the most traumatizing time, I think we were down maybe in Florida. I want to say I was maybe 8 or so. And it was the first time that I heard someone call me the N-word. And I was just like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I knew that I was Black, and I knew that I was different. I always felt different because I always kind of was different in a lot of ways. But I think that Blackness being highlighted as like an issue for somebody, first time I experienced that was when we went on a vacation. So I was with family, but it was scary because I wasn't in my environment. And so I didn't feel like I had a way to retaliate or to defend myself or to protect myself. It's just like somebody said something, and I didn't have like the maturity to know like what to do or how to respond or how to deflect that, you know, not absorb the energy. So
you were 8. So
yeah,
like,
I was 8. I was like,
emotional skill
so it
sets.
made me, I was really upset. I'm pretty sure that I cried because I didn't know what to do. I was like, what? You know what I mean? Like, why do people get to talk to me crazy? And like, how is this okay? Why would you, and to me, like, as a child, like, why would you ever, like, talk to a kid? You know what I mean? Like, I just want to remind you that I don't care. Like, you don't matter. And so it's just, like, that was stressful and strange. And it made me have an appreciation, actually, for Washington. Even though Washington has a lot of problematic systems and culture. Also, for me, it was somewhere where people weren't blatantly, outwardly, for the most part, saying racist things. You know what I mean? Just on a regular
basis.
It wasn't normal. So, yeah.
I can say in that vein, like, what were some things mom and dad did that helped you have a better sense of, or kind of remedy that, or what were some things that for you helps you bounce back, or what did you learn later that helps you to have a positive look at yourself in that way?
So it took a long time for me to really identify with being Black in a way. I think that and maybe that was part of it too, is like in Tacoma, I was different than all the other people because my family was different. My dad's a pastor. So I always felt a sense of having a community inside of my home. But I don't think that I felt a sense of community around being Black until I was probably in my 20s. And actually started going to like the movements and going to like rallies and parades. And I actually really respecting and appreciating the fact of where I came from, because I think a lot of times I felt ostracized outside of the Black community, and I felt outside of the world community. So it was just like I didn't feel like people saw me or cared about me or that I was included. And I think part of that was just because I didn't understand some of the issues that we have in our community, and I didn't understand where people's behavior or angst came from. And also, I think I didn't know how people felt about me. Only things that we usually hear, I think, are what people say the loudest. And a lot of times, the loudest people are wrong. And so what I was receiving through my childhood about myself, the people that I was ugly, I was too tall, I was too fat, I was too whatever, thing. It took a long time for me to actually start choosing who I was going to listen to, and actually listening to encouraging myself about myself. Like, I like me. I am myself, so I need to have a good relationship with me. But I think mom and dad, what they showed me was their growth. They showed me that you don't have to start with everything, that you don't have to know everything, that you don't have to be perfect, that you can take something that's small or that people see as insignificant and make it into something great. And so I remember Dad talking about he used to work at Taco Bell and used to work at all these different places and make $2 or $3 an hour with 6 kids. And so for me, what I learned from them was just to be resilient and to just keep going. Like, especially like Dad was just like, just keep going. It doesn't matter what happened. Just keep going. Get up and go to work. And sometimes I would resented him about it, and sometimes I would get frustrated because, like, I have feelings. I still need, like, mentally to be able to function or process things. But also, I think it was good for me to learn how to not let my emotions drive my living. And so I think Mom kind of was like therapy. She offered me solutions and tools and asked me questions about what I was thinking and why, and who I was and why I felt the way I did. And Dad was like, this is structure. This is what you do. This is get up, do, what I mean? Like, do the work. So I think together it was they weren't perfect, but there was a good balance of both sides of, of moving forward and healing and growing. So
how would you describe your relationship with your skin?
It's funny because when you asked me that, I didn't think about being Black. I thought about my actual skin because right now it's breaking out from my chemotherapy.
All
of my skin. So I would say I really like blackness. I like the fact that my skin is brown.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I have struggled sometimes because of kind of the colorism that exists in our community.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, what I liked and valued and thought was pretty was more dark tones.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of felt the other side of that with people that were darker skinned because a lot of times I feel like their beauty is discounted. And so for me, like I would have people, I've dated people that would be like, don't go outside and tan, or, highlight and lighten and do all the things that you can to be as fair as possible, stay inside, because they wanted someone that was like, and the reason they chose me was not probably really because they thought I was pretty, especially pretty or good, but they're like, you're light enough, to be able to date. And now, like, so now, like, when I look back at that, it makes me really, really, really angry and frustrated because for me, most of the people that I've chosen, I think it's like the weird thing where you pick like your dad. Most of the people that I've dated were darker skinned people. And so now when I look back, I see like in a way that they didn't like themselves. And so it's like for me, it made me angry, but it also makes me really sad because I feel like every single shade of black is beautiful. And nobody chose, like I wasn't born like light skin, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or whatever, brown, paper baggage color. Like I just was alive. And so it's like, I'm grateful for my skin. I used to try to tan. I used to try to get dark because I wanted to be like, I like the little cocoa or whatever. I wanted to be, I had a color, skin color goals. So I think that's problematic in myself too. Yeah.
Like I was to be like charcoal. Like I was like, this is dope.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Like, I want to be as black like as possible. And then for me, like my skin after a certain tone, it looks weird because it's like, this isn't, it's like when some other people of different origins sometimes expose themselves. Like my skin has a kind of, I think everyone has a point where it's like, you need to take a break, reassess,
lighten up.
Yeah. Like you've been out here. So I have a picture from like, I think my sophomore year, junior year of high school. It's really funny. I don't know if I can find it. But I look like a demon. Like my skin was so red. And they didn't have the right color. The photographer was not for black people. So I literally looked like red. Like a flaming hot Cheeto.
Wow.
Red.
My skin gets a little redder too when it gets...
It was not...
It's interesting.
Yeah, it was different than what I was going for. So I think after that point I kind of learned to balance, like your health is important more than like achieving this goal of whatever aesthetic that you think is better. Like take care of your body because otherwise you're gonna look crazy and you're not gonna feel good. So yeah, I'm learning excuse me now how to take better care of myself. This, like I said, the diagnosis was a big, and it's funny, before I even knew, it was a big thing for that too. Like, oh, I need to take care of my body. I need to take care of my skin. I need to protect, like even now, especially because my immune system is a little down. I'm more susceptible to getting sick or having issues. So it's like that protection. So for me, like moisturizing and doing that stuff is not even an option. It's like I have to take care of myself. So it's unfortunate that sometimes we wait until things get really bad before it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be, eating at Jack in the Box several times a week. But
those jalapeno poppers though.
Yeah, but so yeah, my skin, I love my skin. I'm grateful for it. Now I look at myself. I'm a combination of people two of the people that I love the most,
Mm-hmm.
and respect. Sometimes when I don't know how to love myself or respect myself from in myself. I can respect myself through where I came from. I think Chris told me that we're like 12,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we count back to our ancestry. And so for me, sometimes I think about that. I'm like, I'm a representative of so much.
Of a significant group of
Right.
people, yeah.
And so it's like, I shouldn't be ashamed of anything. You know what I mean? I survived. I'm the DNA that survived. I'm a strand. You know what I mean? Like I am here. So it's like, not only give myself permission, but like feel empowered by all of the history that is in my veins. Good and bad and ugly and, you know what I mean? Sad, but it's like a testament, all of the things that all the people went through to get to me being here was too great. It was too like powerful of a sacrifice for me to take who I am for granted. So
tell me about part of this whole thing is to get stories out there, and kind of the three key words are know, connect, and heal. It's know your worth or know our worth, connect to our culture, and heal from past trauma. I feel like in my experiences watching from the outside in, for women, sometimes it seems difficult to connect with other women. How is that connecting with Black women, especially in Washington State, where we're supposed to be 6% of the population,
right.
So only 3% of the people
They're like you, or even the same color, Sorry.
It's okay. Oh.
So, connecting to Black women has been always very interesting for me. And I think that's such a big question. I will try to be succinct.
We can explore all avenues of it, because that's the point.
For me, Black women. So I have like so many different views of Black women. I have like a part of me that just rejoices in like everything that's Black and just like celebrates, and it's like I'm so excited. I love to see Black people winning and thriving and doing great things. And I think that also sometimes like my feeling of feeling like an other caused me to even mentally create barriers between myself and other people that were like me, because I was scared of being hurt, or having people I was picked on. I think most people probably were bullied at some point. And I think that with Black women, a lot of times we learn really well how to be like jujitsu with our comebacks and clapbacks and say stuff to people because of the trauma that we experience. And sometimes it makes it hard for us to bond and connect to each other because we're all have hurt, and a lot of times too, I think the competition that's in play for Black men, because they're so scarce, makes like a level of hostility that some women have toward each other. So for me, connecting, the most important thing to me that I need to know is like what that person is there for, what they're standing for. And then also that they love themselves and they know how to have joy. And for me, that's not even just Black women, but a friend at all. And so lately, it's really funny. I posted something on Facebook saying, be very specific, because I have been praying and like asking, because I really wanted more friends. I wanted more Black friends, like Black girlfriends. I wanted to have like the little I watch the
Yeah,
movies
crew,
and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I want to have the crew, the crazy and the funny and the whatever. But I never really felt like I had that. And so a way that I really have started building deep connections to friends is right now, just with my diagnosis, having people that really understand. And I think friendship, the deepest and the strongest friendships are the ones where you go through the hardest things together. And so I think having people that have been through life altering, life threatening disease, it makes you almost don't have a choice but to connect. You have to get help because it's like you're sinking. And so for me, people that are willing to be vulnerable and be honest about where they are and what they need, and that I can be the same, that's like almost like we're instantly gonna be friends. Like you can't help but to be friends. And then for me, like Black women, I've like started, it's helping me too to appreciate, like whenever I go somewhere, like I notice, like even in my doctor's office, there's a lady that's there, it's a Black lady, and she's really super sweet and just nice, and she's going through something where she lost her voice. She has a condition where she something's wrong with her vocal cords, so she has to get like some injection to decrease the inflammation, but her voice goes away, so she can't talk. And she was talking about how she felt, but it was just like she was so authentic. Like I didn't know her, but it's like she was willing to have. She was encouraging me. She, girl, you look so good today. You know, I was like, Black women. I was like, we could be your best friend or your worst. Like you know, like if like having a Black woman as an ally is like to me the best thing that I could have. Because it's like I've met people. My mom had a lady call me today that I don't know, I've never met or talked to her before, and she's trying to get funding for me for my cancer and doing all this stuff. And it's like, you don't know who I am, and there's no reason why I should matter to you, but for some reason you're taking time out of your day to champion and do something for me, and I, you know, like I didn't earn. And so it's just like there's these people out in the world, and I see them all the time. It's like you're just out here doing stuff. You're just doing amazing things. So for me, like I'm a fan of like Black women, and so that's helped me becoming and changing my attitude towards people and learning to how to see them and appreciate all the overcoming that we've done in spite of systems and all of the stuff that's literally purposely like pitted against us. This makes me it makes it it's making it a lot easier for me to connect and to see the value of people and just to any. When people, I would say that's something to touch on. Like when people, it's a really interesting place to be in. When people find out that you're sick, I've had such a large, startling variety of responses from people, but I can say literally every single like Black woman that I've told, like I have this, was like, what can I do for you? How can I support you? I will be here for you. I'll show up for you.
Ruth?
Yeah. Ruth Esser, the lady that designed my dress, who is ridiculously
Talented.
I don't even, I'm trying to not cry in this.
Alright, good.
When I went to her house and she just like right away was trying to help me, to take care of me and do all the things, and could relate to what I was going through, and really was excited about the process and everything. It was like she gave the energy because I didn't feel hopeful. I was tired. I was really scared and frustrated. it was like so many things, and it's hard because when people are doing nice things for you, it's like I need to be grateful, but also this is happening, like I'm in life and I'm dealing with this diagnosis, and I still have to show up for, well, I don't have to, but I need to show up for work. I need all of the rest of your life doesn't pause for you. It's like it would be nice, like, oh, we have cancer, so we're just gonna give you a check. Yeah, you get a pass to not have to engage with the world for a while. You get to go through mourning. You don't have to answer your phone. It's like, no, actually life is still happening around you, and people are still having bids, and you still have needs. You still have to take a bath and do your hair, like, and so for me, for her to come in and really just be like a light. She was like such a light, and just in the right moment, was like, it was very healing and very encouraging for me. And I still I think like I need to text her or call her more. I think of her like often, because she's so vibrant and just funny and fun and alive. I'm really grateful for her and the design that she did. The dress that she made for me is like ridiculous. Like my coworkers are like, "Can you wear it to work?" And I was just like, "No, I cannot wear that to work." But it was just like they could see the joy that it gave me, and also how beautiful. It's ridiculously beautiful. Like I literally had a guy. He's like, "When we get married, you're gonna wear that." And so it's just like, to me, like I'm so grateful for her. Ruth, Esther, Ruth, Esther. I don't know the name of the makeup.
Oh,
I have to redo that again, so I'll probably can say it.
Yeah, Candida.
Oh, and Ruby too, or not Ruby. I told you I keep wanting to call her Ruby. Brenda, the cook lady.
Oh.
Just recently.
Okay, that's the second synchronizing click.
So I just really want to say that I'm so grateful for everybody that helped out with the photo shoot. My family, Michael for setting up everything. It was like really a life-changing experience for me, and I felt more, like I said, I felt more beautiful than I've ever felt before. I just felt like I felt so honored and humbled by the experience. So I'm thankful to Ruth for designing the dress because it was beautiful. I'm thankful for Miss Erin for doing all the work on my hair, even though she knew I was gonna cut it off.
Yeah,
it was really, she took so much time and put so much into taking care of me, and then the whole entire time, as almost every hairstylist does, ministering to me, encouraging me, telling me, everything's gonna be okay, telling me survivor stories. For Candida, she like made me feel and look beautiful. She had my makeup looking on point. I'm today like, oh, like I can't get to that level, but I'm grateful because she kind of gave me some tips, and she talked about why she learned how to do hair because her hair was short, and so it's like she can relate to that part of the journey, like having to go through having short hair and still feeling feminine. So I'm just grateful to all of them, the whole team that helped support me getting ready for the photo shoot and through the photo shoot, just to look and feel really beautiful. It's has been, and I know it will continue to be something that's like a uplifting, like encouraging thing for me. So I'm very, very grateful for that.
nice. Speaking of, no, I was kidding. Who are some women of color that inspire you?
So I would say the first and foremost, my mom, Monique, Miss pending Dr. Monique Renee Jordan. She's always been like crazy inspiration for me, and she gets on my nerves because she's so apologetic about like things that she thinks that she messed up, but she doesn't have any idea how much she's like soared above what I could have imagined or asked for to have in a mom. She's like that. I still am always like, you had 6 children and you were married. And people like, I wouldn't want to raise kids by myself, but raising children, no matter what, it's hard. And having a relationship and staying with somebody, staying with a pastor, mom is like top, like she's up there for my inspiration. After that, I would say the old ladies that I just said that helped me with the photo shoot, Ruth Esther Kendetta, Miss Erin. In my life growing up, probably a lot of women in the church, Mother Beecham, Sister Lewis, Miss Sandra, just a lot of the women that I saw kind of pushing through and growing in their lives on a like probably celebrity type of way. I would say like, of course, Michelle Obama. I feel like she's the easy like choice. I hate to say it. Well, I don't hate to say it, but like I would say
talk about Maya Angelou.
Maya Angelou, yeah. She because there's such a big part of her story that I relate to. Reading her books, her journeys and travels through the world, I feel like in a way my heart is broken still, because when she died, I was like, took it like personal, like you're not allowed to die because I don't know you, like, but also that she made herself knowable, like that she put herself out there and was vulnerable with deeply traumatizing and painful events that she shared. That is like, to me, like another testament of like that she was like a Black woman for me that helped me to be like improvise. She was just I'm just gonna show up. I don't know how to. She like literally signed up and applied for a job as a Creole cook, and she didn't. She was not a Creole cook. She went and asked her uncle, I think, for like what ingredients that people use, and just she was in the restaurant and was like famous and had them going because she just told a story. She was a madam. She was in plays. She danced. She was a stripper. She went to Africa and married some like diplomat. She worked with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. She wrote. I think that was the same thing with the paper. She said that she was a writer. I don't think that she just was like, oh, I can do this. Like, I'll just say I can do it and I'll figure it out. And so it's like, for me, I've always kind of operated in that way. Like, the challenge is what pushed me to meet, motivated me to go get going or get accomplished or get the box checked off. So Maya Angelou, I love Lauryn Hill. Her the live album that she did carried me through some really dark places in my life. I would say like India Arie. I would say a lot for me, like a lot of artists and musicians have been pretty inspirational for me. My sister Nicole. Nicole.
Ooh,
She's my sister. She's my little sister, and she's like the engine. So her like just boldness, her savagery, her strength, and just willingness to say exactly how she feels, and not be apologetic. She's inspiring to me. My grandmothers, all of them. Aura, Dot, Jessie
Jessie Mae.
May, whew, the Lester women, my aunt Lisa, my cousin Tasha, my aunts and uncles, even too. But yeah, they a lot of their stories and their wisdom and really humor has helped like tremendously for me in overcoming so many things. Miss Penny, Miss Sylvia, yeah, she's a really big person for me too. Her peace that she has about her and positivity, and she always makes me feel loved. And that for me was like, and not like, oh, because you're being this way or because you showed up this way, but just like, hi, I love you. And it's just like, oh, and also my nieces, even though they're young, Aisha and Camila, Ariana, Amia, Diamond. Oh my gosh, Diamond. They are like women in a way that I look up to. I don't know. It's like I see their joy and their just the way that they look at the world, and it's like encouraging. It's like y'all don't know what you're doing either. None of us do. And I feel like we as adults, it's like you look at kids or kind of look down at kids like, oh, they're figuring things out. But if you're being honest, especially for me now, it's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I have this. Oh, I'm supposed to do this. Like, so it's like seeing kids and their energy and their just joy and excitement about just being alive. Like, oh, it's a day. It's happening. I'm here. It's been very inspirational to me too. And I'm sure there's so many people I'm forgetting. So I apologize. But yeah, definitely. Yes.
Let's see. There's so many questions.
Well, you can like test and then skip, or you don't have to ask everything. You can reconvene session 2. You have any important I already cried, so
what makes you smile?
I think especially now, the biggest thing that makes me smile is people that I love. After that, I like memes and different stuff, little crazy jokes, really bad humor, corny stuff. The Office is like one of my favorite shows. Frasier. The Black Girls sketch was really
Girl
good.
Sketch show.
Yeah, that was good. My family, like Aisha and Camila and Amia and Ariana and Diamond, they always like, they don't even really have to do anything. It's like if I see Ariana walk in the room, it's just like, what are you doing? I already like, they're plotting. There's something going on. But no, just for me, really, right now, just being alive, it's something that I don't think I really appreciated that much before. It's like I woke up in the morning and I can breathe and all of my parts are working and my brain is working, and I'm still mostly like have the parts and stuff that I was born with. And so just being alive and having people that care about me makes me smile, and remembering that music is also a really big part of like joy for me. So yeah.
I guess, did we talk about it a little? Like, we talked about the hairstyle change, but before that, what was your relationship like with your hair?
Oh, I think so. It's really funny. I'll start from because this is my mind kind of works backwards. So like getting my hair cut off. My mom helped me. It was probably one of the things, like, actually when I was diagnosed that I wasn't really that dreadful about. I didn't think that it was going to bother me because my hair, I love my hair, but it's a kind of a stress and a burden. I think for Black women, I don't know if people have seen that movie with Sanaa Lathan, but I don't remember the name of it right now, but where she shaves her head. And like, I watched that movie like 5 times. It was just like, I'm going to cut my hair off. And like, had a resolve to do it like a couple years ago. I think my dad was like, no, you're not. You are 50% of mine and you're not allowed to do it. So for me, I was kind of excited about cutting my hair because I just felt like sometimes I just don't want to do it. And so it was like, not even because I'm grateful to I'm grateful to have hair. I'm grateful that hair was on my head. I'm grateful that I had hair. And my hair is like, I feel like all hair is good hair, but I like my hair. But also it's kind of a burden sometimes and it's stressful and it gets tangled and you have to put products in it and do all these different things. So for me, like, shaving my head was like, oh. And so it was like, I was literally obsessively like touching my head and like you experienced that. Like scratching it and just like feeling the air. It feels so different and kind of cool. It's also weird, but yeah, I think as a Black person, woman or man, like, your hair you can be judged on it, whether you have if it's thick enough,
it's kind of one of those things that sets you apart.
Right. If it's long, is it good? Is it wavy? Yeah. Is it whatever texture? And to me, it's like, really, actually, the more kinky that your hair is, the more versatile it is because you can literally do everything. Like, if your hair is only straight, you can make it curl, but there's certain patterns and textures and styles that are not going to last or look as good. It's like, if you have kinky hair, you can braid it, you can straighten it, you can curl it, you can coil it, you can do anything that you want with it. And so for me, like, learning how to love and appreciate my hair was important, but also I'm grateful right now to have a break from having to deal with it, especially as it was getting thinner. It was kind of like, it just was making me sad. Like, I don't, want this anymore because it's like a thing. When after I got diagnosed, I think the hardest thing was like not being in control of some of the things that were going to be taken away. And so it's like, I feel like my hair is getting taken away from me. My parts of my body are going to get taken away from me. They say you can lose your taste and your feeling and different things from the drugs. And so it's just like, oh, no. But for my hair, it was like the one thing where I was like, ooh, I get an excuse to be bald. So, yeah, I have an interesting relationship with my hair, but whether, I'm grateful. I think Black hair is beautiful. It grows towards the sun. And also, I think that Black people look beautiful with or without, hair. And if it's something that's causing you abnormal amounts of stress and you can't deal with it,
cut it.
Yeah, check your head. I'm just playing.
Check your scalp for bumps.
No, if you got a little dents, rock your dent. I'm grateful that one of the nurses at my job today was like, you need to thank your mom because she did a good job taking care of your head once you were born. Because it looks, she's like, it looks very like good. I was like, yeah, I'm grateful that my head is like the way that it is. I think I was scared about, once I got closer to cutting it off, I was nervous about what I was going to look like without having hair. It's like, oh wait, then when it's gone, it's gone. Like it's not there no more.
It's just as not.
Yeah, but yeah, hair is beautiful.
Kind of switching topics. When we've had a lot of discussions about different things, and I've been like I feel like in a similar way you become woke just about Black people issues. You become, as a guy, you become more woke about stuff that women are dealing with that you don't expect to be the case.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to hear some of the things. Like, I remember it's kind of ironic to me. Like, I was watching Master of None, and like then Aziz had a whole issue with stuff that happened, and but I thought the episode was kind of genius because it just showed two guys going through their night and how they dealt with the situations that came up and how it affected them, and then a woman going through the same thing, and it was a whole other experience for her because I feel like in general the balance of power was way different.
Yeah.
And the response of the person towards them was way different. Like some drunk guy coming up to her at a bar or walking into her car, walking home, she's texting. Aziz and his friend are just like just going down the street like it's like and there's no danger or anything. And I was just like, I never thought about that. Like I'm not worried about being assaulted as a 6 foot, 250 plus pound Black man.
You can walk confidently.
It's not a path I've had to walk. So what I'll say, what are some things that you've learned in how to deal with kind of, I don't know, being safe or kind of, I don't want to say coping, but just having good boundaries in that area. And then what are some things that I don't know, I had a question, like, what are some things that men can do that are encouraging or helpful in public and women, private or around him? Like, I try to, I can only influence where I'm at, and I feel like I work to do that, but I'm sure there's situations where I could show support better. What would that look like for someone that's not easily apparent to?
I think a big part, especially now, so I think there's so many levels that people can have an impact. And I think a lot of times we feel like we have to do active, really big, heroic things. I think the most important things are small ones. I remember I went to the grocery store, and it was Stadium Thriftway, and there's a guy that's there. He's Black, a Black guy that works there, and he works in the later times of the night. And so I went to go get some, like a loaf of bread or something. I was hungry, and I was there by myself. And so when I went inside, everything seemed okay, but then there was like a weird person kind of hanging around, a guy that he was just acting strange. And so the guy, without asking me or saying anything to anybody else, he walked out, like to make sure that I got to the car and made sure that I was safe going outside. And so it was like, to me, first of all, I would have to say that I'm grateful for my stature and being a female. I remember it was strange to me, and I used to feel irritated about it. I remember Mom saying to me, and now I don't even want to think about it in a sense, but she said that she prayed that if she had daughters that they would be big and strong. And I didn't understand why she would want that, because for me it's like, this is annoying. Like I'm so tall and it's awkward, and men are weird towards me because they don't know how to take, you know what I mean? Like this like tough girl. But now, like when I think about my life, I have been afraid, and I have been assaulted. I have been attacked and raped and approached by men in a variety of different, really terrible ways, and have people tell me that I don't have the right to set boundaries around my own body and my own space, or that I wasn't pretty enough or good enough or valuable enough to be able to feel like I should have confidence to say no, or that I was hurting somebody because I didn't do what they wanted me to do. And so for me, for men, if you check your friends or check humor, I think that's a really big thing. When people, it's those videos that people share of like men, and I know that some people say like, oh, I'm doing this to expose bad behavior. But for me, I don't want to see a woman being hit. I don't want that to be normalized. I want that to always be traumatic. And I want to see it stopping. That should be the video that's trending. Somebody defending somebody that's less powerful from someone who's trying to hurt them. Regardless of, and I think a lot of people have so much they have so much personal history and personal trauma that sometimes they pick up agendas that are wrong because they forward what their experience was with the opposite sex onto other people. But the majority, they project their issues onto other people, but the majority of the killings and the violence and acts of aggression are from men towards women. And I know that women are doing it too, and they're wrong. Like any type of violence is wrong. And also saying, well, this person does it too is not when you justify. So I think people should never justify.
It's like, well, why aren't you policing your own communities and black on black violence? Kind of same logic.
No, don't.
Or you're killing black people are killing
respect, like the respect women. People are like having a problem with that, and it's like, so how do you get Black Lives Matter, but you don't get respect women? Why wouldn't you respect women? What's wrong with respecting women? I respect men. Like, I think that men deserve respect. I think that people should be treated with decency. I think that people shouldn't use other people. They should be honest about what they want and who they are, and on all fronts. And I also think that some people like the idea or the notion of having power or being responsible to take care, because it also gives them the ability to feel like they can control other people too in their bodies. So I think telling your friends, telling your sons, no. If that... Sometimes when it's not convenient for you, I think that Black women or women period do that a lot. And I think that men, a lot of history were responsible to work. And so that's what they learned. They got good at working and paying bills and doing that stuff. But then a lot of the emotional labor fell on women. So I think both of us both communities could stand to do work. But I think for me with men is checking yourself, checking your friends, asking yourself questions. Is that okay? Or should I think that? Or should I feel that way? Or why do I feel that way? And I think therapy and having conversations without expectations, without hostility, forgiving other people, forgiving yourself. I think that's a big one. I know that I haven't always been respectful towards women, towards myself, towards men, because of the things that I went through. And I didn't really, some of the things that I struggle with, I didn't address. And so I think the more that I mature and the more that I grow and learn about myself, it helps me to help other people to be supportive in both ways. Like, because I feel like there's so many levels of issues in our community that we can't, if we're going to survive and move into the future, we can't afford to hold these grudges. We have to start building anew, and we don't have to do the old things. We can do whatever we want. So it's like, check yourself, check your friends, and check what you're sharing. I think those are like the biggest things.
What is a dream or goal you had as a child?
When I was a child, I wanted to have my own store. I wanted to be, a lot of the things, I wanted to design clothes. I wanted to be an artist, and I wanted to sing. I remember I was little. You probably remember, I used to sing a lot. I would like be in the bathtub making up choir songs and doing parts by myself. And so like now that's been something like for me not to always focus around my diagnosis is like, oh, life is still happening. It's play is the button is on. Record is happening all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I need to do these things and I still have these abilities. So for me, yeah, art has always been music and art have always been very important. Creativity, creating and designing clothes and songs and writing and all of that have always been a dream of mine. And I'll say another one. I think I wanted to be like a firefighter or something too, which I don't think that continued. But helping people has always been something that has been important to me. To take health, taking care of themselves has been important to me too. So, yeah, art. And I'm painting again. I'm going to be in an art show that Ruth Esther is hosting on September 28th. Yeah, so I'm getting my pieces together with the help of renowned artist Christopher Jordan. He's not a Black woman, but he's my brothers too. Definitely, all of my brothers are an inspiration to me. Michael, just doing things. Everything like you, it's funny because I feel like I've always tried to like, okay, this is right. But it's like, I'm not using, so I don't remember who said it to me, but they said being responsible with my therapist. Being responsible is using the gifts that God gave you. So you are responsible because you're using the gifts that God gave you. And I'm grateful to see my brothers, Joe out here being a dad, Michael out here doing photography and design and promoting businesses and doing a lot of things. It's just, that's inspiring to me. The Black Gold Project is awesome. Christopher, William with his music, Chris with his art, my sister with all of her things, her education, her being grown for no reason out of nowhere, her helping children. For me, it's just like, I'm so proud of all of the things, but yeah, those were some of my goals, and my family has been a big inspiration for me and helping me to start back toward achieving those. Nicole's helping me put my life in order. Chris is helping me with my art, and you're helping me with the visions. So I have to get William to do some music for me. But yeah, get Joe to play some saxophone solos. Yeah, I might have to guilt him into that.
Yeah.
Joe. I need it. I feel like music today. The two things, those saxophone solos and the baritone speech. Baby.
Speech. Oh,
that's like what I'm missing the most.
You need Boys to Men.
Yes.
Come through.
So yeah.
I know this can't. Oh.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like we got a lot. Like that's really like it's a lot. Like you said, you cried. No, I was kidding.
Laughs. Yeah, all the boxes are checked.
I guess we could do some stuff like some little bumps, like check out Black Gold, or do your interview or share your story.
Yeah.
Just like you could say a few of those things.
Oh yeah, if you think that your story would be an inspiration to other people, send an email to you. And I think that's something. So, for me, to Michael, I have some ideas. I think like how they do on the podcast, you can do like letters, reader letters. You can have people ask questions, have your viewers. So in the future, okay,
Oh yeah.
In the future for the Black Gold Project, if you have questions or interviews that you would like to request, if you have any people that you think would be inspiring to the Black community, please reach out to the Black Gold Project. The information will be shared on the screen. Yeah, right. And also, if you want to send money to support the Black Gold Project, please visit the website.
Epicblackgold.com.
Epicblackgold.com. That's EPCOH. Oh. I'm going to do that again. Epicblackgold.com. It's EPOCH, Black, BLACK, Gold, GO. I can't talk right now. It's EPOCH, BLACKGOLD.com. Epicblackgold.com, spelled EPOCH, blackgold.com. So reach out, send emails if you have suggestions about people that you would like to see interviewed. If you have questions for any of the upcoming people that are going to be interviewed, please reach out there. If you want to contact me, you can find me on social media. I will post my information down below. You can reach out to me if you want to send me some money. If you want to buy something from my Amazon wish list. I have cancer, so it's important that I have all my needs met. No, but
yes, it is.
Please support the project. Please tell your friends about it. If you don't have money, likes and shares are dollars. Listen, just share it on your page. Be excited about it. Tell people about it. If you have concerns or questions or suggestions, please voice those. Your opinion, positive and negative, is very valuable. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Michael.
One more question. How is your experience interviewing overall for the project? Or how do you feel?
I feel like it's comfortable. And for me, I think it's funny. Once I got relaxed, I still am concerned in this present moment about the way that I look and how I sound. But I think it was cool. It was fun. I enjoyed. I think the questions were good. I was trying not to get too emotional, but it was hard because I'm emotional. But yeah, I enjoyed the process. I'm very full of feelings. Yeah.
Well, that is a cut.
No. Through my life, you've always kept me safe. And every time I came to you, you made a way. So I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. No. Oh. Tell me I'll be great, and the amazing things I'll do. But how can they believe in me if they don't believe in